Okay, so here it is. I'm going to go over A Heart is a House for Love. I'm going to read these lyrics, and this is where I found the revelation about God's people coming back to the origin. And it's a song by the Dells, and it's remember. And these are the lyrics. It says, "Remember, a heart is a house for love. A heart is a house for love, and I've learned that it doesn't take much to build it up. Build it up, build it up, build it up. Two wrongs don't make it right, but too long was the night I kept you guessing. It's all I can do, and hope that maybe you'll come around again. Now I see that the wonder of devotion, it doesn't come free. A heart is a house for love, and I've learned that it doesn't take much to break. A heart is a house for love, and I've learned that it doesn't take much to build it up. Today I understand I'll pay the price to be all the man that you need. You know you got to be free. Go find your way. Go find your way. Find your way back to me. Now I see that the wonder of devotion, it doesn't come free. A heart is a house for love, and I've learned that it doesn't take much to break. A heart is a house for love, and I've learned that it doesn't take much to build it up." And so this is the lyrics, and it just keeps repeating itself, and it keeps repeating itself. And then it says, is there a heart in the house tonight? Stand up, let me know you understand. Is there a heart in the house tonight? Is there a heart? Build it up, build it together, then it won't fall. Build it up, build a house full of hearts to withstand it all. Two hearts belong together. Build it up together, and then it won't fall. Build it up, build a house full of hearts to withstand it all. Build it up. A heart is a house for love. And that was so profound to me, and I received the revelation that brought me back to Jeremiah 29. And the one thing that kept me, I'm sorry, I'm losing my words here, sorry. The one thing that really drew my attention back to this was this song, and it brought me back to Jeremiah 29. And this is the letter that Jeremiah wrote to the exiles. And so here it is. It says, "These are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem to the surviving elders, the exiles, and to the priests, the prophets, and all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had taken into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. This was after King Jeconiah and the queen mother, the eunuchs." It says, "The official of Judah and Jerusalem, the craftsmen and the metalworkers had departed from Jerusalem. The letter was sent by the hand of Elisha, the son of Shaphan, and Jeremiah, with a G, the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah, king of Judah, sent to Babylon to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. And it said, Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all the exiles whom I have sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon." And it says, "Build houses and live in them. Plant gardens and eat their produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease. But seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare. For thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, do not let your prophets and your diviners who are among you deceive you, and Do not listen to the dreams that they dream, for it is a lie that they are prophesying to you in my name. I did not send them, declares the Lord. And it says, for thus says the Lord, when 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will visit you and I will fulfill to you my promise and bring you back to this place. So that is how I received that revelation. And it was more so of going back to the origin, the original origin, the original way of doing things, such as working together, building a house, such as working together and having a healthy lifestyle and having a healthy outlook on love, you know. And I'm going to read this to you here. It is let me see here. Give me one moment. And then it says here in Jeremiah 10, and I'm going to read down further past 10. It says, for thus says the Lord, when 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will visit you and I will fulfill to you my promise and bring you back to this place. For I know the plans I have for you. That's Jeremiah 29:11, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. It comes back to the heart. This is about the heart. This is not about a physical place. This is not about that. This is more so about the heart and where the heart has been taken to when it comes to all these things that have occurred. There was a lot that went down in this time, you know. And it says, I will be found by you. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and I will restore your fortunes and gather you from all the nations and all the places where I have driven you, declares the Lord, and I will bring you back to the place from which I sent you into exile. It keeps really reiterating coming back to the place, coming back. And the song talks about coming back. Now I want to read this article that I stumbled across on, and I was just, the word two hearts belong together just kind of kept sticking out to me in that song. And I came across this article, and it's called Two Hearts Are Meant to Be Together. Let me see here. So it's an article. It says Two Hearts, Two Paths, Two Ends, the Ancient Modern. Two Hearts, Two Paths, Two Ends by Joshua Allen Sturgill. And I'm going to read this to you. And it says, the task of poetry is consonant with that of prayer, to preserve the soul of the world by taking us continually back to the origin of all things. Only by return to the origin can we truly know purpose and meaning. Only by return to the origin can we reliably evaluate progress. Only by return to the origin can we orient ourselves to good and proper ends. In a manner of speaking, the world has two hearts. The heart given at the origin, that's Jerusalem, and the heart that we have made for ourselves, which is Babylon, right? The first heart has life in itself, which is the welfare. It is organic, which is the produce. It represents the produce that God says, grow your produce and eat that. The first heart has life in itself. It is organic, cooperative, prayerful. The second is an artificial heart, a heart that that fitfully and unreliably supports us in our distractions and unnatural pursuits. Because this is so profound. I'm going to keep going. Let me keep going. The making of a second heart alternatively describes what religious traditions call the fall. You notice it kept talking about the fall in that song. If you build it up with love, it won't fall. This is the true origin of things. Let me keep going. And it may also be true to say the second heart is our attempt to survive the fall. Much of our culture is, in some way, an attempt to justify abandoning the past and manipulating the future. The second heart selfishly and incessantly describes the fall as a necessary or even beneficial event, ensuring its own survival in a post-fall cosmos. And you think about the fall, it's the fall of Adam and Eve, and then this is also the fall of the Tower of Babel. In the book of Daniel as well, when it comes to King Nebuchadnezzar, when we all know that represents that pride and ego, right? That is the second heart. The poetry interrupts the monologue. Poetry gives the world a glimpse of what it lost or abandoned. The continuing hidden existence of the first heart, which is hidden. It's not lost, right? It's just buried. and it says the first heart, from our perspective, poet of thought, appears to give the world a new heart and transcendent visions. But truly, the poet, the saint of sage, is only drawing back the curtain to show what is old, what is obvious, what is normal. Poetry is old. Okay, words on new breath. The fall separates one thing from another, but poetry reveals that each thing is more than itself. A tree, a story, a sunset, a beautiful face. Each is the end of a string secured at the other end to the first heart, which is to the origin, to the unfallen soul of the world. Babylon, that's the world that we live in. We have adapted to those customs. We have, whether we want to acknowledge this or not. And it says the second artificial heart defends itself from this revelation by introducing categories in our thinking, which become divisions in our perception. There are many examples of this, but in the current moment, the divide between physical and natural and spiritual and supernatural is quite prominent. First, we think dividedly, then we see dividedly, then we live dividedly. That's what that's explaining in that. Also, I feel like that. And then you can quote me if I'm wrong. A lot of Bible scholars may say, no, that's not what that meant. But this is the revelation that I just received. And I'm a roll with this. And I've been praying for this. And this is finally my answer from the Holy Spirit. And I'm going to roll with it. Because the fall necessarily involves reduction and dismissal, once we divide natural from supernatural, we compulsively choose one over the other. Our choice becomes our preference. Our preference becomes our focus. Our focus becomes our capacity. We choose the natural/physical side of being and soon lose any ability to see or accept other sides. Poetry reminds us that physical and spiritual are together. And that's very profound, because if you look and you take marriage, right, the physical marriage and the spiritual marriage of God's people, and then this is where the kingdom spouse and all these things come into play, right? So we have the God-ordained spouse or whatever, whatnot. We have marriage that we have a lot of people that are trying to bring back love in marriage. And A lot of people don't marry for love anymore. A lot of people marry because they want money, or some people marry because they want the mundane things. They want a good life, or some people just marry because they don't want to be alone, and that's all. That's all a part of that second heart. The first heart should be love. You should always marry for love. You should always want to be in harmony and union with your spouse, but it needs to have love, because if there's no love in a marriage, let's say a loveless marriage, is going to fall. It's inevitable, you know? And that's what the song is saying. Love is what's going to build it up. You can easily get your heart broken, but you can easily build your heart back up. That's just the power of God within us, you know? So anyway, but the origin, there is no separation, no categorizing, no division. Each thing reflects and surrounds each other thing. Each event reveals all other events. Light proceeds from and reflects from all. A priest, for example, is revealed by robes and a cross, but priesthood is a mark on the soul. So you see what I'm saying? So like the physical represents the spiritual, and this is what this is saying, okay? And then it says, a poem about love need only reference a rose or a smile. The outward and inward, specific and universal, are conversant and referential because they are ultimately one, right? Following the slow and difficult path back to this one, to the, see, that there's that 70, that long wait, that slow path, the slow journey back to it, you know? Following the slow and difficult path back to this one, to the origin, we find a strangely humbling reintegration of what were once separate ideas: beauty, philosophy, love of wisdom, holiness, industry, patience, simplicity, inspiration. The second heart fades and disappears. The pulse of the first heart grows strong in our ears. Was the second even real? That's that mundane, the illusion. Was it a mirage, which is an illusion, generated by our exile in the desert of the fall? Was it our own self-protection or self-ignorance? And this is what I was talking about earlier in the video when I said that, you know, we tend to get into ego and pride because of trauma and pain and our hearts being broken. We get into that illusion and delusion, that mirage, that facade. But deep down inside, that love is still there. It's just a lot of people get scared. We don't want to release it anymore because we're scared of it being hurt. But guess what? The song is also saying, just as quick as you can get your heart broken, this is the power of the heart. Just as quick as you can get your heart broken, you can build it right back up. People are not perfect. You know what I'm saying? You're not perfect. You know? So anyway, and it says, the first heart of our nature is immortal. Therefore, the substitute heart, being its opposite, must die. Individual and societal panic ensues as the second heart approaches its end. You know, the end of that exile approaches its end. The second heart obsesses more and more intently on matter, hates spirit with more and more passion. That's that ego. Ego, pride, and love cannot dwell in the same place. You can't have them both. You know what I mean? And this is that, it's taking me back to this thing about the pinnacle, the upside down pinnacle versus the upright pinnacle. The upside down pinnacle does not want spirit, does not think that spirit needs to preside in order for them to thrive. That is that satanic and dark, occultic type of thinking, right? And slowly based on pride and animalistic and unnatural desires, which is ego and pride and all these other things that come along with that. I don't want to elaborate a little bit more. There's a lie like child sacrifice. A lot of people do all these things and these evil things, you know? Anyway, so it just says, I'm going to read it again. The first heart of our nature, is immortal. Therefore, the substitute heart, being its opposite, must die. Individual and societal panic ensues as the second heart approaches its end. The second heart obsesses more and more intently on matter, hates spirit with more and more passion. Finally, the second heart tries desperately to organize political and technological systems that will keep humanity bound up even after it has died. But that's the goal though. And some see, that was Nebuchadnezzar's goal, to keep society bound up into idol worship, into I'm the king, I'm the only one that wears the pants. God can't even stop me. And God was like, no. God is what? Love. And God is like, no, you need to learn. He exiled Nebuchadnezzar. He banished him. He had to go into the desert in order to find his way back to God, back to what is true, back to the origin. Poetry therefore reveals two endings of the story of humanity, mutually exclusive but equally at work in the current world. One ending is the artificial continuance of things as they are right now, the life support culture, a parasitic misuse of the natural world. The current system has the Ouroboros of its sign and symbol, the snake devouring its own tail. And that goes back to Adam and Eve too. And the symbol of the other ending is the reborn God. This God allows evil, the ghost of victory it craves, only to reveal that evil can never be ultimately victorious. The forms of the reborn God are most obvious in religious traditions, but material humanity has become desensitized to the language of the spirit. Still, the reborn God speaks in spring, flowers, fairy tales, meditation, good wine, birthday parties, self-sacrifice, small acts of kindness. The fall is not yet over, but it carries its end within itself. For a moment, we will all participate in the fall to some degree. Poetry reminds us to reintegrate the physical and spiritual, that is, to make all things sacred. So we will weather the coming storm. You see, this blew my mind how this just came together. While the world breaks further apart, the poet reintegrates all things with all truth and returns like the prodigal to the paradise of the Father's house, which is a heart is a house for love. I hope that resonates, and I hope you understand where I'm coming from and where God is taking me in this. And I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I pray that, that you choose love over anything else. Real love, true